Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel Rather Be Reading, and today I'm bringing to you my September book haul. So September was a pretty good month in terms of not getting a crazy amount of stuff, which is good. So let's just jump straight in and talk about all the books that I acquired this month. We're going to start off, as always, with the library books that I picked up. I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so like not too bad. The first one that I picked up was Close to the Brokenhearted by Michael Hybert. This is the series that I've mentioned before. I have the third book in this series on my NetGalley, and I didn't realize it was the third book when I requested it, and so I realized that my library had the previous books, and so I wanted to read those before I read the third one, and I actually quite enjoyed the first book, and so this is the second in that series. It's a detective series that follows a very small town in Alabama, but even though it's a detective series, you're not actually following the viewpoint of the detective. You're following the viewpoint of the detective's 12-year-old, I think he was, son, which I think is quite an interesting storytelling method. I don't know if this one follows the son's perspective as well, but I'm assuming that that's probably what's going to be the case, so I got that. The next one I got is another series continuation, which is Messenger by Lois Lowry. This is the third book in the Giver series. I believe this one is another companion. From what I understand about this series, I believe the Giver, what was the second one called? Gathering Blue? Is that right? And then the Messenger are all kind of companion novels set in the same world, but like within different communities. And then I believe that the fourth book comes together to like tie them all together, I think. So I'm not really exactly sure what this is about, but hopefully I will enjoy it, because I do find these books can be a little bit boring, if I'm being honest. But this is less than 200 pages, so it'll be really quick and easy to read. I then picked up The Impossible Knife of Memory by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is one that I need to read for one of my goals this year, and I don't think I've read any Laurie Halse Anderson except for Speak, but Speak is a novel that I love. I actually read the graphic novel version of it, was it this year or late last year, and really loved the graphic novel adaptation as well. I have no idea what this is about though. For the past 5 years, Haley and her father have been on the road trying to outrun memories that haunt them both. They moved back to Andy's hometown. Blah, blah, blah. Her father turns to drugs and alcohol. How do you keep your father alive when death is stalking him? What are you supposed to do when your parent stops acting like an adult? And what happens if a sweet guy who can make you laugh barges his way into your world, and for the first time you find yourself thinking about the future? Okay. I say it sounds like it's going to be another like kind of dark, hard-hitting contemporary, but like I say, I really did enjoy Speak by this author, so hopefully this is another good one. I then picked up Lady Helen and the Dark Days Pact by Alison Goodman. This is the second book in the Lady Helen series. I read The Dark Days Club, I believe the first one was called. Does it have it in here? Yeah, Lady Helen and the Dark Days Club. I read and really enjoyed. This book is a chunky beast. It's like 450 pages, like it's fairly chunky, but I really did enjoy the first one, so looking forward to continuing on with that. The next book that I picked up, we have some real chunky beasts going on for the rest of this library part of the haul. The next book that I picked up is Middlemarch by George Eliot. Another significantly long. How long is this? Whoa! Okay, this is almost 1,000 pages. I didn't realize it was that long. Wow. Okay, so this is the next classic that I've picked up. I read The House on the Strand. It's the last one I had up from the library, so I like to kind of pick up a classic every time I read one from the library. I've heard really good things about George Eliot, but I've never read anything by her. I believe George Eliot is a woman. Is that correct? Like George Eliot would have been a pen name, I assume. Does it say anything about that in the front? Yeah, Mary Ann Evans, brackets George Eliot, was a philosopher, journalist, and translator, blah, blah, blah. So it is by a woman. I have no idea what this is about, but I feel like I've heard positive things about this. Hopefully it's a very like compelling, interesting classic, because holy dooly, this is a big boy. And then the final book that I picked up from the library is another big boy, and that is Oh, it's shiny. The Labyrinth of the Spirits by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is the fourth and I believe final book in the Cemetery of Forgotten Books series. I almost fell over when I got this out from the library and realized how big it was, because the third book in the series was like 280 pages. This is freaking ginormous. How many pages is this? Yeah, this is 800 pages. How do you go from a 280 page book to a 800 page book? Like, that is just insanity. I'm not sure. I believe this is another, like, sequel, because the first book had, which was The Shadow of the Wind, and then the second book was a prequel, but then the third was a sequel to the first book, and I believe this is another sequel. I really enjoyed the third book, so I'm hoping I'm really going to enjoy this as well, particularly because, like I said, this is humongous. I should mention as well that this is translated from the original Spanish by Lucia Graves. So we've got some big books to be getting through from the library in the upcoming months. So those are the library books. Now to touch on the ebooks that I purchased this month. I did purchase 3 ebooks. The first one that I purchased is The Vanishing Season by Dot Hutchison. This is the 4th book in the, I think it's called the Collectors series, I think. The first book is The Butterfly Garden. I haven't read any of these yet, but I have. They just keep going on sale. I don't know if they're always cheaper if they go on sale, but I've bought this entire series, and I heard really positive things about The Butterfly Garden, for like less than $2 for each book. And so I saw this one on sale, and like I said, I've owned the previous 3, so I thought may as well get it while it's cheap, so that I've got the whole series there to read once I get around to it. The first book is I believe follows a serial killer who tattoos butterfly wings onto his victims, but I think he like keeps them in like a garden before that, and I think you're following, the story is told through the medium of like the FBI interviewing a girl who's escaped from him, and I think maybe the rest of the series follows that same FBI team following different cases. I'm not exactly sure. Like I say, I've heard really good things about the first book, and they are cheap, so I just keep buying them when they're on sale. Anyway, the next ebook that I purchased is What You Did by Claire McGowan. This is one that I had just marked as to read last month, and then saw this again on sale on Amazon for like, I think this was $1.49, and so I snapped it up. This is a thriller that is about a woman who is married to this man, and I think it's about a reunion, like a whole group of friends are coming together after, I think it's like a group of college friends or something coming together like 10 years on, and her best friend accuses her husband of rape. And so it follows that whole story. Like I say, I'm very intrigued by that. And then the final book that I purchased, which is another one that when I saw it, that it was on sale, I recognized it as one that I've previously marked as to read, which is called Little Darlings by Melanie Golding. This one is about a woman who has recently given birth to twins, and while she was in the hospital, she swears that she saw this old woman trying to replace her babies with like creatures. But she like screams or whatever, and people come, and then so it doesn't happen, and like the police can't find anyone though. They say that like, she imagined it, and it's then following, she's now been released from the hospital. I don't know how old her kids are, like 6 months or something, and she's at the park and her twins go missing, and her twins are then found, like I don't know how long later, like a couple of hours or a couple of days or whatever, I don't know, and the twins are returned to her, but she is not convinced that the twins are her actual children. And I think it follows that whole kind of thing of, is she like having some kind of postpartum psychosis, or have her babies been replaced with some kind of like changelings or some kind of creatures or something? Who knows? It sounds very intriguing. So those are the 3 ebooks. And then I have a very sedate number of books here that are physical books that I purchased. So I placed my normal monthly online order. I believe I got both of these from Angus and Robertson this month. So normally I get 2 books that kind of go onto my TBR, and then I also order a book that I've previously read that I'm just like buying a physical copy of. I didn't buy like a physical copy of a book that I've previously read this month because I was just trying to keep the price of this order a little bit cheaper. So I only got 2 books with that order. The first of those is Did I Mention I Miss You by Estelle Mascom. This is, I think, the third. I think I've already got the first 2. This is a YA romance trilogy. I say I own the first 2, and so I was just purchasing this so that I can have the entire series. I can't even remember what the first book is about. I think maybe this is like a stepbrother, stepsister romance, which can be problematic but I think it can be okay if it's done in the right circumstances, so we'll see. So I got that, and then the second book that I purchased in that order was Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. I have been wanting to read this for so long. It's been on my wish list for a really long time. I'm excited to finally have my hands on this. I also think this cover is really beautiful. But this is a like rape culture, like rape issue book, which is one of my like buzz things that I love to read about, like not in like a weird way. I just really like the commentary on that in books. I believe this one is about a girl who's got a twin brother, and then her best friend accuses her twin brother of rape, and it's the main character is very torn because she doesn't believe that her best friend would lie about this, but she equally doesn't believe that her brother could do something that awful, and it kind of deals with that whole situation. I've heard very good things about this. I've been interested in this for so long. Glad to finally have my hands on this. And then I also ended up purchasing one book off the like library shelves where you can get books for $1 of like ex-library copies, and I saw on that shelf Ask the Passengers by A.S. King. Not really sure what this is about. I've read one A.S. King book, which was Reality Boy, which I actually really enjoyed, but from what I understand is one of her least favorite like novels, like her least loved works. I know that her books generally have some kind of like speculative magical realism type twist. This one is about Astrid, who spends hours lying in her backyard watching airplanes fly overhead. She doesn't know the passengers inside, but they're the only people who won't judge her when she asks them her most personal questions. Oh yeah, this one's queer as well, I believe. She's falling in love with a girl. Astrid can't share the truth. Little does Astrid know just how much the tiniest connection with people will affect all of their lives. Yeah, so I don't know. I think this is one of her more popular ones, like I said, and if I enjoyed her least popular book, then surely that means I'm going to love her most popular. You would think. So that is the last book that I purchased. So that's it. Like I said, a much, much smaller haul than most of my hauls, which I'm really, really happy with because my TBR is out of control. Let's just be honest. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've got any thoughts on any of the books that I've acquired this month, or if you guys want to tell me about how your book buying has been going recently. I would love to chat in the comments down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys.